Hello, my name is Barbara Easton, and I'd like to welcome you to Play, the Foundation of Everything. We're beginning our journey together today for the next 10 weeks as we move through this course together. I think of journeys sort of as where we are today, how we got here, our story, my story. And when I think about journeys, I always go back to the movie that my kids watched over and over and over. And I think about Aladdin on his flying carpet. And it was so great for Aladdin to go zooming around all over the place, but he had to have a really strong carpet. It had to have a lot of strong weaving to be able to stand up and hold together for the journey that he's on. I think about that a lot when I really think about building foundations for young children, having them a magic carpet or a flying carpet of all those solid foundations that they need to be able to build for successful navigation through the early years, on into their schooling, and on through life. So here's a little bit about my journey, how I got to join you today as your instructor. I was born in St. Louis quite a long time ago now, but as I was growing up there as a young child in elementary school, one day my dad came home when I was 9 and said, "Hey, guess what? We're going to move to Hong Kong." And so we packed up everything and moved to Hong Kong. And that ended up being my growing up years. I spent all of my years there until I graduated high school. And then I came on to university here in California, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried taking different courses and nothing really caught my fancy. I wasn't passionate about anything except making money. So I quit school and started working. I had a lot of different odd jobs, and all of a sudden I got very lucky. I got a job selling encyclopedias. And you think, selling encyclopedias, how is that connected? Well, interestingly enough, I would go into preschool classrooms and try to sell a reading program called Mr. Light is Always Right. I had a little magic book and a puppet, and I do a show for the children. And they would take a letter home to their families, and I would go to their homes to see if I could sell them this reading program. I found out very quickly that I was not a salesperson, but I did love that interaction going into preschools. And 40 years ago, believe it or not, all you needed to do to be a preschool teacher is to be enrolled in a class at community college or any college. So I enrolled at Orange Coast College, and I got a job at the local preschool down the street. It was Patty's Preschool, and I had my first group of 12 children, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I feel that that foundation of coming with no experience and no knowledge has been very valuable for me over my years as I've moved on to be a trainer. I've moved on to also help with quality improvement programs and to really think about now currently supporting our Head Start programs and workforce development. And I have that perspective, 17 years as a classroom preschool teacher. What really gave me the knowing and the understanding of how to take classes, how to learn new information, and to be able to put it into practice. And that's something that I bring together to all of you in our course that we're going to be on today. So I'm really looking forward over our time together to find out more about you. Who are you? What is your story? What is your journey? What are the things that have happened within your life that bring you to where you are today? And thinking about how we then take those same kinds of experiences that have led you to be successfully working your way through elementary school, middle school, high school, university, and here you sit as early care and education professionals continuing your education and really thinking about the journey. So the first activity that we're going to do, we'll have a chance to get to know each other a little bit today. Every time we start a class, we'll have a little bit of a mini activity, a little mini icebreaker, where we'll have a chance to learn a little bit more about each other. So our activity for today, please go into your packet and pull out your card. You have a card, and on your card are some questions. So what we're looking for you to fill out, the first one is please answer the following question. When you're finished, hold your card up to let me know that you're finished. Just write down what your favorite color is. Then, what is your favorite kind of food? And then your favorite place to play before you entered kindergarten. So go ahead and take a moment and write those down. Well, it looks like everybody's hands are up and we're able to wave and it looks like we're ready. So here's what we're going to do next. I'd like everybody to stand up and you'll look around the room. You'll notice that in each of the four corners we have some colors on posters. And if you have picked your favorite color that's anything having to do with reddish, that's kind of red and pink and the different colors all in between, go on over to the reddish corner. If you have yellow and yellowish, yellow and orange and browns and those colors, go on over to the yellow corner. And bluish also includes green and blue together. Go on over to the blue corner. And then anyone who also picked black and white can go over to the black and white corner. When you get there, introduce yourself and share with each other where your favorite place was to play before you entered kindergarten. Go and meet everybody and share. Go. Well, it looks like we've had a chance to talk with everyone and introduce ourselves and talk about our favorite place to play. Let's go to our second question. Our second question was, what kind of favorite food do you have? Do you like? What is your favorite food? So when we think about foods, and I thought about this, I thought, boy, that's going to be kind of tricky. My list got very long. So I thought, let me do it by continents. So if you have a favorite food that comes from North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, or Australia and New Zealand, go ahead to those areas of the room. I've put the posters up, and you'll notice that each one of the continents has a place all around the room. So go ahead and go. If you meet someone there that you haven't met before, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them where your favorite place was to play before you went to kindergarten. And go. It looks like everybody's had a chance to meet everybody. So let's all come back down and sit back down. And then, great, we're all sitting down. So I'd like to ask you, how many of you chose a place that was inside as your favorite place to play when you were a young child? Hands up. And how many of you chose outside? Hands up. So what did you see? Were there more inside or outside? Yes, I saw a lot more outside as well. And that's going to be one of the themes that's going to run through our time together as we think about play and the importance of play and how critically important it is for brain development and how children are able to build those lifelong foundations through brain theory, the developmental role of adults, and how we really think about orchestrating and understanding the world of young children and how important play is. So go ahead and meet your neighbors that you're sitting with. Introduce yourself if you haven't met them yet. And so as we think now about our next steps, we're going to think about play, but we're going to think about how are we going to orchestrate and organize our course. So please go ahead and take out your syllabus. I have a copy here as well that will help us guide through. It'll be an opportunity for us to introduce some of the different activities that we're going to be doing today. After the break, we'll go into more detail. We'll have a chance to talk with your table mates. And there's some activities that you'll go ahead and meet today and come into some small groups that you'll see through the syllabus that we'll be doing together. The variety of different activities we have, we're going to be reading some different articles, looking at some videos, doing some small group activities and some larger group activities, and having a chance to think about how our Gardner's theories of multiple intelligence, the different ways that we're all learners as well. Next week, we'll be able to do the survey of Gardner's multiple intelligence theories for yourself, so you can see what your dominant intelligences are. So speaking of the brain, when we really think about brain development, it's woven all through our coursework. You'll notice over here that as we start our time together today, we're going to be defining our course. We're going to be talking about the different areas that we're going to be including. But then you'll also see we have activities. Every time we watch a video or we have a reading activity, we have an activity, an article review or a video review. It's actually a form that we'll be using. We'll be filling it out every time. You'll notice that it's on here under the assignment, and it'll tell you when it's due. Those are due usually the very next day, the very next course. If we meet on Mondays, it'll be due the following Monday. We'll also have an opportunity every time we come together just to reflect and really think about what it is we're going to be learning for that day. We'll check in for understanding what we know already, have an opportunity to kind of write and journal and put down our thoughts about these areas that we're going to be studying through our course together. And then as we learn the information, as we discover ourselves on our journey, we'll have an opportunity at the end of the day to reflect back and to see if we've added to our learning, knowing and understanding, and be able to kind of write about it and have a chance to journal. That's actually a wonderful process to help put information into long-term memory. So we're going to be looking at research, we're going to be looking at theorists, we're going to be looking at brain development, birth to 3, 3 to 5, and have an opportunity to talk about developmentally appropriate practices, the role of school readiness, and how we pull it all together to really know and understand and speak to the importance of play so we become play advocates for a lifetime. So that's our first introduction. Excuse me, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and I will talk to you back in a few minutes.